In this increasingly uncertain world, your hard-earned money is under attack. It's not owned by you, and it's definitely not controlled by you. Now, they seem like very big claims, but you don't need to look very far to see evidence of this in day-to-day life. Many years ago, we made a decision to take back control of our personal finances using gold and silver, and we've helped thousands of people just like you to do the same. If you want to protect and secure your finances, visit goldbusters.co.uk and join us in taking back control and protecting your financial future.
It's just really good to see you because, we started off at the start of this journey with the Pyramid Code, as we just said, but and it's been incredible. Everything that's going on has given the opportunity to people like you and I.
Yeah.
And it's no mistake. You knew very early on that you were called to do something. And I knew 2 years ago that I was called to do something, because otherwise I don't know where I would have got the strength from doing two, 3, 4 interviews a day, every single day for 2 years. Putting in the average of 18 and 20-hour days.
Yep.
And not feeling, sometimes I feel tired, but I'm just grateful for the chance to do this. I mean, I love what I'm doing. I know you do, because when I talk to you, you're buzzing with energy.
Yeah, it's incredible. Like you said, I mean, I'm beyond grateful to be able to be on this journey. And
yeah,
a lot of people ask why, and I know you know this as well, because you have no other choice. Because it's not about, you can't not do it.
No,
I can't live not doing it. There's no other way.
And it's quite interesting on our journey that I discussed this morning about manifestation.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many things that just are like light switches coming on and saying, you're doing the right thing. Go this way, go this way. And you don't know why you're doing it, but it's almost like you surrender to God and say, fine, I'm here to do whatever you want me to do. And you know that all sense of fear disappears. And it's just an incredible journey and what it is connecting within yourself. You and I have had a specific calling, and we connected with a spiritual side of us. Yes. With me, it was a side that I never knew I had.
Likewise.
And when you connect to it, number one, you see things with clarity. You feel things, you can sense things, you know the difference between right and wrong.
Yep. It's complete intuition. Clear, it is. Crystal clear. Absolutely.
It is.
And that's it. A lot of people, I'm sure you get this, everybody gets it, where on the way with that intuition and clarity, you always get the people that are going to try and bring you down. You always get the people that are going to try and say something. And when you connect back to that, I call it God, call it intuition, source, creation, God, whatever you want to call it. It just reaffirms everything. It makes everything that much stronger.
I think one of the biggest lessons that I learned that has helped me a lot is that spirituality has absolutely nothing to do with religion.
Very big point.
It is.
Very big point.
Religion was created by man.
Yes.
Our spirits were given to us by God.
It always makes me chuckle when somebody says that spirituality is new age, because if you go according to, on the literal standpoint, chronological order of how certain things happen, the spirit didn't come after religion.
No.
Religion came after the spirit.
Yeah.
So if anything is new age, it's organized religion.
Yeah.
If anything is new age by the clearest definition of the term. But of course, because of the corruption that's going on, the indoctrination that's going on, it's no longer even religion anymore, because there is a spiritual source to the Bible and Bibles and all that. But the way that we read it and the way that we follow it is no longer of spiritual nature. It's called enslavement and suppression and control. And a lot of people, from my experience, when I speak about this, there's this defense mechanism that comes up because there's this thought of when you put down religion, people think that you're discrediting God. And it's the exact opposite. It's the exact opposite. God is in everything. It's not about one or another. It is everything. It's inclusive, it's united, it's harmonious, it's balanced. So I'm so in alignment with you, and all the work that I do is all about that. We have to transcend the limitations of organized religion, the indoctrination of organized religion, to get to a point where we understand that we're all spirits here. We're all souls here. We all have a heart. We all have blood that's flowing. We all have this life force, call it God, whatever you want, that is allowing the flower to bloom and your heart to beat. And that's what connects us all. So that's what I think we need to all connect to. And when we do, we will be one world. We will be a united people, not the one world government and the one world that the Kabbalah is talking about, but the one world of God, the one world of source, the one world of humanity, unity, what we came here to be.
And we've learned on this journey that God has got an amazing sense of humor. So I'm sure the Holy Spirit must think it's great to be called New Age. And of course, when you understand what God is within us. I used to think growing up, because of my religious teaching from the Plymouth Brethren in a cult, that God was up there.
Yep.
And then I would look in everywhere, couldn't find him. Then when I looked inside, I found him.
Yep.
That was for me, it was a great period on this journey when you reconnect to your creator. And of course, when you reconnect to your creator, if there's anything wrong, he can put it right. The one thing with God is he does it in his own time for reasons. And sometimes we get impatient, but he does it for the better good of all of us. This is such a learning curve. I mean, when we discussed the last time the pyramid code, I was just blown away, just understanding. And what our teaching, I was with a gentleman 2 hours ago, and he said to me, I like to learn something new every day. I said, I'm going to teach you something new. And he said, go on then. I said, he's English Italian. So I said, you'll be aware that the Vatican City, has nothing to do with Italy, independent. He said, yeah, fully aware of that. Know that. I said, Washington, what does DC stand for? Got no idea. I said, it's a district of Columbia. He said, what does that mean? I said, it's not part of the United States, separate. He said, well, I didn't know that. I said, City of London, nothing to do with the UK, completely separate. He said, you're joking. I said, you know the policemen in London, City of London, red and white squares around their hats? Then you've got the Metropolitan Police for the rest of London. He said, oh, yeah. He said, no. I said, there you go. I've taught you something. Now go and do some research.
Interesting.
Yeah. And stuff like that, with people that are interested to do some research, this is the perfect little touch paper, just to light the touch paper and say, just have a look. Then you open people up, and I've been trying to find ways to open people up to truth. Not always easy. And it wasn't for me when I was 23, because my parents had misled me. And the fact that they'd lied to me made it very difficult for me to believe anybody else. But
it's really about, from what I've seen, you plant the seed, you don't try and make the plant grow. You can't do that, right? Yeah. When was the last time a gardener made the plant grow? It doesn't. Your job is to plant the seed. How it sprouts is up to nature. So that's how I see the awakening process. Our jobs is just to plant the seed, plant that seed of awareness. Don't try and make somebody see something, because if they're not ready to see it, they won't see it. Even if it's right in front of them, they won't see it. And if they do see it, they'll say it's fake.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
There's no such thing as proof either. Everybody always, that's my favorite. Everybody says, give me proof. I'm like, okay, what do you want? A picture, a video? You want to be there? Because if you don't believe something to begin with, then a picture is fake, a video is CGI, a physical experience is either hypnosis or hallucination. It can all be dismissed if you don't want to see it, if you don't want to believe it. So belief, faith, it's first and foremost, number one. That will allow us to see what's in front of us always. So I just say, plant the seed, don't try to convince whatever happens next.
How's your year been then?
Everything's been well. You know, my focus has just expanded since we connected last.
Yeah.
So last we were speaking about the pyramid code, tunnels, children, all that.
Yeah.
Things got a whole lot more intense ever since, a whole lot more interesting, because I've learned a lot, you know, beyond just my own individual process. I learned a lot. I've seen a lot. I've experienced a lot having to do with expanding beyond the children, the tunnels, now into weather modification, certain things that we're seeing around the world, technology that I couldn't even fathom a year ago, you know, so incredible stuff that's just been happening in my personal life, publicly, all around the world. And again, I wake up every day and we do the same thing differently. You know, it's the same mission expressed differently every hour, you know, so just keeping on going on that mission, spreading that truth, whatever is necessary in the moment. So unlike some, which is why I love your work, Charlie, you don't focus on one topic. Your one topic is everything, which is truth, putting it out there, awareness, and helping the people. And if that means today we speak about 5G, tomorrow we speak about children, the next day we speak about pyramids, and the day after we speak about space and extraterrestrials and technology, it doesn't matter. The thing is, everything is connected to everything. So I've been really implementing that over the past year and a half with my work of showing how everything is connected to everything and really holding the theme of truth, awareness for all.
No, I agree totally with you. For me, it's been a blessing because of the simple fact I'm under a military NDA with the quantum financial system. So they keep saying, oh, you can't say this, you can't say this, you can't. And I know what's going on. So I've had to have something else to talk about. Otherwise, people keep coming back, well, tell me a bit more. And every time I say a bit more, I get told off. So this has given me a great bit of opportunity to learn and to be a platform that can get the truth out to as many people as possible.
I think in times like this, when there's a problem, it's an opportunity to create the solution. Of course, as we all were, I was deplatformed all of a lot of social media. My solution was, let's build our own platform. So that's actually what I've been doing, which we now have the first ever in history free to use social platform without advertisement. So it's never been done before. Okay. And that's a whole other great project that's going on right now that we put together.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, this is how it's all progressing. We're moving into a completely different world that was driven by money. We're moving into a world of love, time, the ability to express the truth without being censored. It's fascinating, all these fact checkers. Fact checkers didn't exist until the lies came out. I mean, they needed to protect their narrative. And
it's based on opinion, which they've admitted.
Yeah, it is. And every time I got taken off YouTube, which we got taken off 15 times, and every single time it was for documentation that we'd published from the CDC, the WHO, or the British government. And every time we published it, we got taken off. And we said to them, look, you can find it on their website. And they refused to acknowledge it. It's come because one thing we're very careful on, when I say something and when I publish something, we need to verify it. And we've got a big team of people verifying stuff. So it, you know, every now and then I'll come up with a conspiracy theory, which is a bit of fun. Because at the moment, something quite big has happened in England. For people who are switched on to what's happening, it just puts a smile on your face, because we all know right now, this is a 5-dimensional game of chess.
Yep.
And through all the information I've got around from everybody, the last sign will be when the Queen passes, apparently. Now, in the newspaper yesterday in England, it said the Queen is unable to move. She's finding it difficult to move. Now, if the Queen can't move in chess, the game is over. We've already been in checkmate for some time, but there's been moves where they go sideways, backwards, just playing the game.
Yep.
You can't win, but you want to see if your opponent will crack. No, we've now got to the stage where in the newspaper, it's come out that the Queen is finding it difficult to move. And that for me is brilliant because it's all learning how to decode the information that's coming out. It's all there when you know what you're looking for.
Exactly.
And the decoders all picked up on it straight away. The Queen's finding it difficult to move. We're nearly there, boys.
Very interesting.
Isn't it just?
Yeah. Wow.
So it's very exciting. And the overreach of Justin Trudeau has been very interesting. I mean, the guy's an imbecile.
Canada turned into a communist country overnight.
I know. Who would have thought it? Some of the nicest people on the planet are Canadian.
They're freezing bank accounts. I mean,
I know.
Next level.
I think my favorite one was the fact that the trucker that got arrested for hooting his horn too much.
It's
I mean, and classifying him as a terrorist.
But you know, those things are good because they help people see what's going on.
They do.
I always said this from the beginning. I hope they ramp it up real quick.
Yeah.
Because the quicker they ramp it up, the more people wake up. Because it's like, did you just arrest somebody for honking the horn? Did you just freeze somebody's bank account? It's next level.
And I'm going to ask you a naughty question.
Yeah, go for it.
Al Qaeda and ISIS, have they gone on holiday for 2 years? Real terrorists. I mean, we haven't heard anything, have we? Where did they go?
You know what it is? Those people were, those organizations were funded by the terrorists that you're seeing come to surface now.
Exactly right.
They've been funded the whole time. So now they're just saying, we're going to take over now.
Exactly.
They're the people that were really doing everything. So it's the same thing. Down in a different uniform. Always.
It is.
Yeah.
So what are you doing right now? You're doing? Yeah,
right now there's a big series. It's a 2-part series. Part 2 is coming out, all about disclosure. So a very big, I would call thing that we've been focusing on. A very big part of the focus of my work has been disclosure as a whole. Disclosure can be extraterrestrial life. It can be things about religion. It could be things about the cabal. It could be how certain things are happening in the underground tunnels, where the children are, how they're being taken out of the tunnels, things having to do with weather modification, patterns and earthquakes and the like. So when I first came on your show about a year and change ago, I was speaking about this organization named TLS, otherwise known as the Light System, right?
Yeah.
And it was the first time anybody has really ever heard about it. That's when it started coming out. I put out this information, put out the pyramid code on behalf of them because they gave me that document. And over time, a lot more information has been coming out. Now, at the time, about a year and change ago, I told you that the person who gave me the pyramid code wants to remain undercover. He's my main contact in the Light System in TLS. Again, for anybody who doesn't know what TLS is at this point, it's kind of like the CIA, only they don't work on the side that the CIA works on, and they're a lot more powerful. So they're a physical organization. They have offices in every major city in the world. Very, very well-known people are a part of the organization. Most people are undercover. You would never know that they're a part of it. So it's all an undercover job. Their purpose is to help assist humanity in reaching a higher level of awareness, to really bring us together in a good way. So to dissolve all the evil and corruption that we're seeing in the world, and they have incredible ways of doing that. So that organization, my main contact was the man that approached me, who I've been working with for about 3.5 years now. Ever since June of 2018, I've been working with him. I've been guided by him. I've been shown incredible things, experienced incredible things. A lot of those things I shared on your show. It took me a long time to get him to agree, but I got him to agree to do an interview, to come on camera, to actually share his experiences. So it's not just me being the messenger, but he can give you his firsthand experience, which was a huge step. Now, to get him to agree, he obviously would only agree so long as he could remain anonymous for his own security and privacy concerns. So in the interview, as you saw, because you got the screening beforehand, he's faded out. So you could see a person moving and you see him speaking, you just don't see who it is. And his voice has changed. So you don't know who he is either. The reason why, by the way, again, he's not just another random person in the world. He's pretty well known in the world that he's in. It would jeopardize a lot of things in his life. Although I don't agree with the way that he's doing it, that's his choice. He wants to protect his family. He wants to protect his business. He wants to protect his life. And he says, why do I have to come out? Why do I have to reveal my identity? I'll just give you the information. Whoever wants to believe it will believe it. Whoever doesn't wouldn't have believed it if he came out anyways, because they would just call him a fraud. So I get his point, and that's what he wants to do. That's how he does it. So disclosure part 2, part 1 and part 2, they're for free for everybody to watch. So this isn't anything that anybody charges money for. It's information for the entire world. Watch, download, share for free. And part 2 is actually coming out on February 22nd on 2/22 at 2:22 p.m. And the reason for that, by the way, is, of course, dates and times spiritually hold a very strong significance and presence. When you take all those 2s and you add them together, you're going to get the number 18. Now, 18 represents the resonance of life, of course, and I expect this. People are going to say 666 is 18. No, 666, there's no such thing as a bad number. There is such thing as the cabal taking numbers and repurposing them and corrupting them to be bad.
Yeah.
So the number 18 is a number that represents life. That's the purpose beyond the whole angelic realm of 222 and what that whole thing means frequency wise and vibrationally speaking. It's all done intentionally. So I don't choose those dates and times. Those dates and times are given to me, and I'm just instructed to put that whole thing out. So again, I mean, it's very long. It's about 2 hours and 15 minutes of an interview. Part 2, part 1 was about an hour and a half. And upcoming part 2 speaks all about Antarctica, Fort Knox, the rescue operations in 2020 with the children, the underground tunnels, the explosions in those underground tunnels, which were done intentionally, the repetition and the pattern of earthquakes at exactly 10 kilometers, which were done purposely. All of this is revealed throughout this interview. And what I love about it is that it's not information coming through a grapevine. You're talking about a man that was there, that experienced it, that was a part of the operation that Reuters fact-checked by saying 35,000 malnourished and caged children were not rescued out of the tunnels in New York. This man, Ray, which is not his real name, but that's what we refer to him as, Ray actually tells you the details of that operation in New York in 2020, how they took them out, where they are today, what happened along the way, the technology that they used to be able to take out so many children without anybody in the middle of New York City seeing. So all of these things are revealed. There are some very dark topics that are spoken about, but I would say the overall arching theme is it's a very high vibrational theme that he brings there, meaning he reveals and exposes the darkness, but he's always sure to bring the solution. What can we do? How do we change? How do we take over? How do we transcend the darkness? How do we turn the light on for real instead of just doom and gloom and fear, right? It's all about what can we actually do after we're aware of the information that we're becoming aware of through this interview and, of course, all the other information coming out around the world today. So I'm beyond grateful to be able to put it out. It's definitely the biggest work that I'm putting out, the most significant piece of work that I've ever worked on, that I've ever done, and definitely the best interview that I've ever produced and interviewed somebody on. So I encourage everybody to watch that. It's super powerful. And again, it's free for everybody. So this isn't anything that you have to pay for. It's all on unified.com. Charlie, I could send you the link if you want to put it under.
Please do.
Everybody to be able to watch it for free. Part 1 is there. Part 2 comes out. And I know a lot of people ask, can we share it? You don't have to ask me permission. Take this video when it comes out and put it everywhere. This isn't about, the rights don't belong to me. The rights belong to everybody. It's information that everybody needs to be aware of. So I encourage everybody to put it everywhere.
I think one very interesting thing that's really relevant now, when I was speaking to one of the senior military guys that was involved in rescuing children from these tunnels, it was one thing to rescue the children, and I understood obviously that it was important to stop this ever happening again. So we now know that they've been blowing them up. We know that. Yep. But when I talked to him the other day about blowing them up, he said it's not just for that reason, Charlie. It's to make sure that these evil politicians have got nowhere to run and hide. Exactly. And I thought this was very, very telling. Yes, a big portion that is spoken about also in part 2, as you saw. A lot of people are fixated on the children part. Yeah. And the children is not the biggest purpose for the tunnels.
it's a part of what's going on down there.
Yeah.
It's the most sensitive part to humanity because of what's going on down there. But when it comes to these tunnels, you're talking about a massive amount of resources and minerals, gold, platinum, diamond, silver, money that's being hidden in these hubs underground. That's the main purpose for what you're seeing. That's a lot of what's going on in Antarctica. That's why you can't go there. There's no fly zones. You know, it's for many reasons that are explained, but the children is a part of it. But yes, as you said, these explosions are going on to make sure that they can't keep doing what they're doing. You know, these tunnels are not new. They've been around for a very long time. There's very high technology down there that they use to create those tunnels as well. And that they use in those tunnels, like very, very fast trains. That whole train that Elon Musk is talking about, that's not new technology. That's been around for a very long time. There are trains that I know of that I haven't been on them myself. I know individuals, Ray being one of them, who's been on these trains for operations. They can take you from New York to Portugal in about 22 minutes. You're talking about 17,000 miles per hour equivalent, you know, so it's incredible technology that's being used for the wrong purposes. So interestingly enough, when TLS and Ray, a part of these operations, goes down there, in addition to rescuing children, in addition to blowing up these tunnels, they also confiscate the minerals, they confiscate the technology, they destroy certain things like adrenochrome. That they don't confiscate, they just destroy it completely. And it's a big operation of killing two birds in one stone, meaning you take them out, but you also take what made them rich in the first place to repurpose it for good cause instead of malicious purposes and intentions that we're seeing today. So, I mean, listen, I've been told about explosions before they happened, and you saw them on the news. There was a whole pattern, I think in the month of August or September of 2020, if I'm not mistaken, or even 2019, I don't remember the exact dates, where over and over and over again, there were fires and explosions in Russia and Dubai and the Middle East and all over the place, and nobody's making the connection. And I'm telling you, for about, there were 24 explosions that I knew of. About 30% of them I knew before they happened. That was part of the proof for me. Where I was told about something and suddenly I see on the news, oh my God, they told me about this 2 days ago. I knew about this. So these are all intentional. This is all being done to take out. Are there casualties along the way sometimes? Absolutely. You know, that's what happens in war. You're not going to get out scot-free with everybody surviving. A lot of people in TLS were killed. Out of an organization of about 7,000 people at the time, 2,000 of them were killed throughout these operations over the past few years. That's a lot of freaking people over a 2-year span for an organization like that. So listen, as I always say, there's incredible stuff going on. There's always been incredible stuff going on. And I know the skeptics will always say, where's the proof? There is no proof that anybody will be able to show you if you don't want to believe it. The proof is before our eyes. We see, you just have to connect the dots. You have to see what's going on. But again, without belief, no proof will ever be significant.
This is something I've said all along, that when you connect within, you move out of the third dimension into the fifth dimension. The fourth dimension is a bumpy road for most people that go through it. And it's learning to trust your intuition. And I've said many, many times about when you learn to trust your intuition, don't be afraid to make mistakes, because that's where you learn. And when you start to empowering yourself and opening yourself up, opening your spirit up, you'll start to see things so much clearer.
Yes.
And I mentioned earlier in the show about manifestation. Things will be manifest to you very, very clearly. There's no doubt whatsoever. And when God talks to each and every one of us, I don't have any questions at all. Was that God talking to me? That doesn't even come into the vocabulary. You know when God's talking to you, and it's very, very clear. And he points you in directions to show you. And he shows you personally. You don't find the proof in the television. You don't find it in a dictionary. You don't find it in a book. You find it within.
Yes.
And this is about your own divinity, your own sovereignty, and who you are, and taking back your control of you, because most people have become puppets or sheep, as they've become known, because they all follow each other. It's very important that you find out. And there was a comedian in England called John Cleese, and he said something that has stood with me for 20 years that I love. He said, every single person was born a winner. Out of 1 million seamen, you were the one that survived. So you were born a winner. What you do with the rest of your life is up to you. If you failed, it's your fault because you were born 1 in a million.
It's true. It's very good.
When people realize that they are special, every single one, and I say this to my audience, there's nobody out there that's less special than I am. No, not one of you. Mm-hmm. They're all pieces of a puzzle. I'm one piece of a puzzle. That's all I am, just one piece. But when we put pieces together, I've brought people together, we get clarity. Absolutely. And if you get to the end of the puzzle and there's one piece missing, it's not complete. So realize the value of your own piece.
It's true. It's true. And we have that power. People, back to the God situation and that idea, people think it's a far-fetched idea to connect with that source. That source isn't external of you. You are that source. Yeah. You're as much a part of it as all of the rest of existence. Look what a miracle you're living in. It's just the way things work. So it's not this crazy idea. It's not just for saints and prophets. Mm-hmm. We're all a part of that. We all come from the same place. We all have that beating heart. We all have that divine intelligence that causes for the heart to beat, the blood to flow, and everything else to move. Your breath to breathe without you thinking of it. Mm-hmm. So I think we will come to a point where, number one, what we call the supernatural will just become natural. Because again, when we look at nature and we see, talk about the idea of shape-shifting. People say that's impossible. Well, what do you think a caterpillar does? Caterpillar turns into a butterfly right before your eyes. Never went to school to learn that. It intuitively says, okay, I'm a caterpillar. Now's the time to go to this tree, hang upside down, and sit here for 2 weeks without food. And then we're going to come out, and suddenly I'm going to come out with wings. If I told you a human could do that, you'd think I'm a psychopath, but it happens in nature.
Yeah.
It happens in nature. You see birds, they know where hurricanes are. They don't have navigation. They don't have any of that, but they can do it. So if a human being can do that, we call it supernatural. But when a caterpillar does it, when a bird does it, we call it natural. So we just have to connect back to nature and understand we are that.
You know why butterflies only live for 10 to 14 days?
I don't.
They haven't got a mouth. They can't eat. They get all their nutrition as a caterpillar.
Really?
Yeah. And the reason I know that is we got a butterfly park here, and Justin, on Sunday mornings, we have what we call Sunday, Father and Sunday, on Sunday morning. And he loves going to the butterfly park. And so we've been studying butterflies for the last 5 years. But a butterfly doesn't have a mouth.
Interesting.
So it can't eat.
What do they do with the nectar?
I don't know. No idea.
I'm going to look into this after.
Look into that. they don't eat. All the nourishment comes from when they were a caterpillar, and they literally last for 7, 10, 14 days.
Yeah, only 2 weeks max.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Fascinating.
Yeah.
Well, Jason, it's a real privilege and a pleasure to see you again. Keep up the good work. You're doing amazing work, buddy.
Thank you.
I'm super proud of you. Well done.
Thank you. Likewise. I appreciate you. I'll send you that link.
Good man. Great to see you.